Hello, Anne. Good morning. I'm Diane Eicher, and our service leader today is Reverend Lori Whittemore. Welcome to Unitarian Universalist Church of Saco and Biddeford. We also want to welcome those joining us on YouTube and encourage you to have a candle or chalice to light when we light ours here in a few moments. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whomever you love, we are glad that you are here with us today. The theme for the month of October is courage. We invite you to carry that theme with you as you are with us today and into your daily life as you leave here today. We strive to be a green sanctuary. It gives roots and wings to our vision of a world where all people build toward a sustainable future and make reverence, gratitude, and care for the living earth central to our lives. We want to acknowledge that our building sits on the land of the Wabanaki Confederation, which includes the Abenaki, Maliseet, Micmac, Passamaquoddy, and Penobscot nations. We invite you to take home the order of service for information and announcements, or you may leave it for recycling as you exit the sanctuary. Our current guidelines, COVID guidelines, are on the back page. There will be a social hour in the parish hall after the service. Please join us.
Good morning. It's wonderful to see some faces I haven't seen in a while, and it's wonderful to see some new faces. Good morning. I just want to let you know that it is one of our traditions to light candles, sometimes before service, but also for joys and things from our hearts. So that's what you've been seeing this morning. Welcome to this place, made sacred by your presence, a place where all of our joys and sorrows are welcome, where the good company of good people gives us courage to live our lives in the fullness of each expression, where together we can remember and together we can let go, with courage, with grace. Welcome to this place. And we've added something back in, which I'm very joyous about. I'd like to invite you to turn to your neighbors, front, back, side to side, and welcome them this morning. The covenant is the centerpiece of how we hold ourselves together, so please join me in reading the covenant. This is our sacred promise to gather together in peace, to seek truth in love, to serve human need, so that we all shall grow in harmony with the divine. And join me, stand if you're able, and we'll be singing in our teal hymnal, hymn number 1001, Breaths. be seated. Just want to say that we tried a new hymn this morning, but we need a little practice. It was lovely, though, and thank you so much, Paul, for playing it.
Please join me with the words of lighting the chalice.
As we kindle this flame, we honor and remember those who have passed into mystery. Their brightness lives in our vision, their courage lives in our commitments, and their love continues to bless the world through us. Now this one we all know. Please stand if you're able and join us in singing hymn 108 in the gray hymnal, My Life Flows On, an Endless Song.
This is the time in our service when we invite people to share what is in their hearts, whether it is a great joy or a deep sorrow. It is not a time for announcements or political statements. If you wish, please come forward to light a candle. Tell us your name, if you'd like, and share your joy or sorrow with us if you choose to do so. Please hold the mic straight in front of you and hold it closer to your mouth than I have been. Speak clearly into the mic so you can be heard through the sound system.
Good morning, I'm Lori, as you all know now. I have a great joy, and that is that my two family members who have had surgery are recovering amazingly. And I'm sorry, Peter has returned to church, and he is looking fabulous.
I lit one candle for two of our members who brought us great joy for many, many, many years, Nancy Knights and Carol Carlisle, both of whom are facing some pretty difficult times at this moment. Carol, I checked in with morning. She has COVID, and Nancy is probably being moved to a different care level quite soon. So keep them in your hearts, and if you have a directory, be in touch with them.
Good morning, my name is Sonia, and I have a double candle of joy. I'm thrilled to see Mr. Mike Dolan hiding up in the back after his long, several days a week work in the hospitality business. Now it's over for a short time. And it's Matt's birthday today.
Happy birthday. Good morning. My name is Sarah, and last week's sermon really got to me. I knew some of the people who had the courage to join two churches together. Their names are on the wall, in a frame, out in the hallway. And I want to celebrate them. And I wish the walls could talk, because this is quite a place. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I'm going to light it. Actually, I already lit one candle. I'm going to light one more here. For all my railing against technology and how challenging I find technology and how I wish it wasn't so complicated, it's going to allow me today to attend the memorial service for my beloved cousin that I talked about last week. And my other joy is my friend Beth and her wife are here with us today for the first time. Welcome.
Oh, she says if I start crying, she'll talk. I'm Lori, and this is my daughter, Justice. And when she came to us, we changed her name to Bridget. But every time we would sit in the front and sing the song, every time when we would say Justice, my husband and I would both look at her. The Spirit of Life. So when we would sing Spirit of Life, we would always look at her and be like, there's our Justice. And she has changed her name back to her birth name and has just had an incredible 2 weeks. She got to meet her birth dad, her brother. Her brother has always known about her, desperately wanted to meet her. And her dad's wife, they're the most loving, amazing people. And then what happened today?
Well, last night or at 1:32 in the morning, I was just scrolling through Facebook and I came across one of my other brothers on my dad's side's Facebook page who I was going to get adopted with, but the agency said no. So I finally got to talk to him, and I'm trying to schedule a day that me and him can hang out.
And we didn't know that we would ever be able to contact any of them because a lot of times people change names and we had no way of finding him. And everybody has been so warm and welcoming and saying how much they love her and they can't wait to meet this amazing girl. So I'm so excited. Our family has exploded.
I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Thank you. Thank you for all the cards, the support, the visits, the phone calls. It means a lot. It helps me get through the bad days. And this is a good day. These are happy tears. It really does. And I couldn't do it without you guys.
Good morning, I'm Trevor. A few weeks ago I mentioned that my uncle was entering an experimental study for his cancer. And the first 2 doses were really small just to make sure he could handle it. That went extremely well. He just took a massive dose, still went well, but in between, before the really big dose, the indicators for his cancer have already gone down. It seems like even at this tiny dose, it's already working. So we may have found a cure. It's really awesome.
Good morning, I'm Doreen Spirito. I'd like to lift up the people of Seoul, Korea, who have experienced a very devastating loss.
I don't know how appropriate this is, but I just lit a candle for myself. I'm going to be gone next Sunday celebrating my great-granddaughter's 3rd birthday, and it happens that it is also my 85th birthday.
Well, we have just adding in children's stories. And today is a great day to have a children's story because we're almost to Halloween. And Halloween means a lot of things. It comes from a lot of places, but it is one of all of our favorites. And this morning I'm reading The Mummer's March, which is a Samhain tale by Cecily Ravenwood. Not so very long ago, before our Halloween, there came a march of mummers on eerie old Samhain. The children dressed in thick disguise and played their music keen. They got some pennies as a prize. On eerie old Samhain, the mummers roared the darkened town. Twilight o'erhead was seen, then little feet must hurry home. On eerie old Samhain, for ghosts and ghouls can make their way to our world on this eve, and young ones must be snug in bed on eerie old Samhain. Please stand as you are able and join me in singing hymn number 103 in our gray hymnal, For All the Saints.
The sacred thread. They once traveled among us, the people of memory. They who knew us, they who taught us, they who hurt us, they who loved us. They touch our lives time and again through their presence and their absence, through familiar scents and favorite songs, through old stories and renewed sorrow. As the earth turns and leaves fall, we reach back to renew the bonds between us. With hearts and hands open, we hold on to love, ever stronger than death. We reach back in gratitude and understanding. Without our time together, the pain and the joy, we would never be who we are today. We would have to pass on ourselves. We would have little to pass on ourselves. Without fear, with thanksgiving and with hope for all that awaits, we remember those who have gone before. We honor the circle of life and death and our place within this sacred thread.
So I want to start a little where we left off last week when we talked about the merger of the Unitarians and Universalists. Bear with me on this, I don't mean to be boring. But it took a lot of courage to allow individual identities to evolve. For those of you who don't know us, we are a liberal religious faith that has been the bulwark of our identity. Liberal faith in a few ways. Liberal meaning it takes into consideration modern science, progress, knowledge, and ethics. And liberal meaning it takes into consideration the multitude of cultures and traditions and works to not privilege any one tradition. It recognizes that our sense and meaning and truth in other traditions. It emphasizes group liberty and rationality and democratic process to determine the value system and tenor of the community together. Liberal religion also references a place on the spectrum of any religion, an open, fluid, and constantly contextualizing belief system. The term is more indicative of where a tradition falls on that expression. Reformed Jews, for instance, allow for female rabbis, where Orthodox Jews don't allow women to show their hair. They must always wear dresses. Same religion, different spectrum, liberal versus conservative. So that's an important distinction for us to consider. We are liberal in allowance of people having different faiths coming together under the umbrella of shared values and principles, versus liberal in expression or adherence to commandments, traditions, creeds, and culture within a specific tradition. We are a liberal religious church that came together out of a liberal Christianity. That's important to know too. Originally, we were liberal Christians moving away from creed, catechism, theology, authority, believing that all have access to God, universalism, all have access to salvation. We don't privilege anybody over another person. We have transitioned over the last few decades into a liberal religion that is open to all traditions, not just Christianity, that emphasizes the ethics and faith points to that which is important. Social responsibility is something that we take very seriously in making the world a better place. You hear the echoes of Christian liberalism in the hymns we sing, if you want to look through the hymnal. And you hear the echoes of our social idealism there as well. If you looked at the history of our hymnody, you would be able to see the shift from Christian liberalism to the welcoming of Judaism, Islam, indigenous spirituality, and earth-based spirituality into our identity, as well as our calls to action for peace and tolerance and the welcoming of all people. Our faith allows us to look back and claim truths that are more than our own. It allows us to look back at leaders that have influenced us and all of society and name and claim the greatness and wisdom that integrate into our own value system. It requires us to be current with the word truth as a filter for looking backwards, as well as for creating a path to move forward. This liberal religion requires us to have a constant relationship with the word change, which takes a lot of courage. Courage and a commitment to let go of what doesn't serve us anymore, what holds us back, what saps our energy and makes us hesitant to embrace our neighbors, new and old. Courage to let go of things, courage to let go of people, courage. And so it is with this tradition, as we let go of most of the rituals of Christianity and the celebrations that accompanied the streams. During Enlightenment and during the Protestant Reformation, we let go of more doctrinal traditions. Christians gave up a lot of those. Last rites, confession, marriage as a sacrament. What Protestants kept was baptism, communion, and ordination. As we are a liberal tradition and a religious community, we have moved further afoot than just Christianity. Our communions are of water and of flowers. We've even added one for soil. They're not the body and blood of Christ. Having a liberal religious perspective thus requires us to be discerning about our rituals. We can consider that many traditions have meaningful rituals and have great beauty and importance that could be used or adapted to create meaning for us individually and as a community. And we need to be ever mindful that we are not being disrespectful to a faith tradition or a community by co-opting a sacred practice and making it our own. Doesn't mean we can't adapt rituals for our own use, but we need to be respectful and mindful to protect the dignity, agency, identity, and autonomy of those who wish to preserve their own. Difficult tightrope to walk. We don't always get that right. I actually found a native dress upstairs, thanks to Anne, that was gifted to a minister years ago. We would never think of putting a native dress on and dancing a dance. But perhaps there's something even closer that we might think of. Years ago, we would have a Thanksgiving Day pageant where people would dress up as Indians and pilgrims and talk about the overwhelming goodwill towards one another. Now, I would have to consult with our church historian. We might have done that before, but we wouldn't do it now, would we? Unitarian Universalists have embraced earth-based religions. I have heard the term pagan used often here. Although pagan has negative connotations to early Christians, we here look back now using the term, it is a term for Celts and Norse polytheistic traditions, not monotheistic traditions. We who use have come to embrace it, recognizing the truth and beauty in many of the beliefs and practices, including important things left out of Christianity, like the goddess and feminine divine. We embrace those here. Truth in indigenous and earth-based religions. We have UUs who have the courage to change a culture of oppression, of dissenting views, of our views on things which didn't actually happen as society thinks they did. We change empirical views, we change colonized views, and we change ourselves as we do this. Samhain was celebrated thousands of years ago by indigenous people of Ireland and other indigenous people worldwide, actually. In Ireland, they were known as the Celts. It is a celebration dedicated to the beginning of the dark half of the year. Samhain marks the end of the hard work of harvest and the beginning of the winter rest. Some pagans consider it the mark of the new year, as harvest symbolizes the practical end of the year. It becomes a new year to begin again. And this time between harvest and solstice connotes a time of darkness, of cooling, of slowing down, of death. In Judaism, Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, is celebrated around the time of the harvest moon in September. So there is kind of a pattern of harvest festivals in more than just the pagan tradition. Samhain is thought to be the origin of modern-day trick-or-treating, as we read in the Mummers book down there. When you step back, you see even more synchronicities between traditions in the Northern Hemisphere. Dias de Muertos, the Mexican Day of the Dead, All Hallows Eve, All Saints' Day, that the Christians syncretized from pagans, all take form around this time in the Northern Hemisphere, recognizing that this time is meaningful to many. Recognizing the meaning is grounded in gratitude and change and death and letting go and on the liminal space in between all things, especially this time of year. It felt like an opportunity to make meaning together through ritual to mark our march into darkness, to mark our saying goodbye to people and practices that don't serve us, making space for quiet reflection, contemplation, in preparation for the returning light and love and life. As mentioned before, part of UU Heritage is to create and adapt rituals that make meaning for our community and ourselves, that doesn't disrespect the culture or tradition where the rituals or traditions originate. So today, drawing on some research and your wisdom, some of the rituals that you have told me that you participate in for yourself, that you've created for yourself, I have created a Samhain ritual that marks and celebrates life through the harvest, honors death as a part of life, centers itself in love as a driving force in between us and through us all. There is not one specific Samhain tradition, but many. I had many interesting ideas in mind before I consulted with the ambassadors of our sanctuary, Jane and Anne, to make sure I wasn't going to spill things on the floor and such. So I'm going to begin our ritual by lighting an ancestor candle to honor all the souls of our UU forebears who create and have cared for this community through the years. I will then light a candle for death, for life, for gratitude, and for us to have the courage to let go of what doesn't serve us anymore as individuals and as a community. During this time of the thin veil, may your energy for these things pass through the liminal. In this good company, you may find strength to shed light on your losses. In this good company, you may find courage to let go. Oops. I light this candle for the ancestors who have come before us and who have returned through the thin veil. I'm lighting this candle for death, for people who have passed over in our lives, in our community, that are on the other side of the thin veil, that we believe that in some way we can connect with them again. I light this candle for life, for what is made new in the event of death, for all new possibilities, and for starting over. I light this candle for gratitude, for the gratitude of this good company, for the gratitude of these new beginnings, and for the gratitude of the harvest and the bounty that went before. And I light this final candle for the courage to let go, for the invitation and the courage to face the things in our lives which haven't served us and what haven't served our loved ones, and give us the strength in this good company to let them go. So now, I invite you to come forth. I want to say that this is different than our sharing from the heart. That is for lifting up things to share. This is for letting go. And so I'm inviting you to come up and take a tea light and light it like this without burning yourself. Offer what it is you want to let go to yourself, or you can even say it here, and then place your candle over here. And in this way, together, we'll make our altar of light in honor of Samhain. Let us be in the spirit of prayer. Holy mystery and source of all creation, we acknowledge the sacred time of descent into darkness, the loss of light in the sky, and the loss of life in our fields, the loss of life in our lives. Death is many things. For us, it can be a marker of possibility of new life, a marker of rebirth. For us, it can be a loss. As we acknowledge death, let us remember the new life and possibility that may come from every end. May we have gratitude for the harvest of all seasons, including the seasons of our life. May we have the courage to let go of what prevents us from stepping into new possibilities and the promise of a new day. And may it be so.
When we gather together as a community, we bring the gifts of ourselves, our hearts and spirits, our time and energy, our talents and skills to support the work of this church here within our walls and out in the larger community. We also bring our gift of generosity, giving of what we have so that the work of this church may continue. As always, half of our offering today will be sent out into the larger community to support the work of an agency or organization that is making a difference in our world. This month, we are sharing our offering with Natural Resources Council of Maine. If you are watching from home, donations may be made through the Give button at the top of our webpage, uuchurchsacobideford.com, or checks may be mailed to UUCSB, 60 School Street, Saco. Or for those joining us on YouTube, you may click on the PayPal link in the video description. Please be generous as the ushers collect this morning's offering.
As we release this flame from its faithful service today, we allow a spark in each of us to burn on, to warm our compassion, to fire our delight, to light our paths today, tomorrow, and always. Please remain standing and join me in singing 1011 in the teal hymnal. We're going to give it a try to do another one, and thankfully Ellie's going to help us along with that.
Yeah, I'll help you along with this one. Paul, can you play it through once they can hear the melody? We're going to be singing the first 2 lines twice, the second 3 and 4 lines twice, and go back to the first 2 lines. Oop, there we go. Just follow us.
Soul, return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul.
During this time of the thin veil, remember those who have gone before. Let them go. During this time of the thin veil, remember what hasn't served you. Let it go. May this time of the dark days and weeks provide you space for introspection, and may grace and peace and courage of this good company and these good people be your beacon through the darkness and into this new year. As Trevor plays Amazing Grace, we will extinguish the Samhain candles, symbolizing the letting go and symbolically of our entry into the darkness of the new year.